Always look on the bright side of life. Diddy, 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 diddy. That's probably what Targa is currently telling himself, because he's like, well, I won game number 1. I can lose a game. So game number 3 is already live, and this is Daedalus Point, a map that is loathed by Protoss players in this matchup, in the matchup against Zerg. And right now we have a Terran versus Zerg. So bottom right of the map, we currently see Targa losing the last game against his opponent. To the top left, this is Happy, and it's actually going to be a pretty epic match. I feel like both games so far were pretty interesting. I have to say that the mech game in map number 1 was probably a little bit more entertaining, but I like that Targa has the balls to just go straight for a Baneling Bust in the last game, and how Happy defended against it. I actually thought that Targa would do a lot more damage, especially with the first attack, but Happy, super solid there. Really super solid. So, let's see what exactly Targa is gonna do in game number 3. I think for Happy we're probably gonna see mech again. Wow, there's a prediction right there, right? But it's more about what is Targa gonna do. I'm really interested to know if he wants to be super aggressive, or if he just says, you know what, I'm gonna play this safe again, maybe with a couple of swarm hosts. I have to say, like, the one thing that always amazes me, like, lately when I watch these games is usually if you see, like, back when Heart of the Swarm started, if you saw mech, you built swarm hosts. That was just the thing. Mech, swarm host, bam. Then you go to Hive and you get your Vipers and maybe Brood Lords and whatever. But, like, you see mech and bam, there's the Infestation Pit. And then it's like, bam, swarm hosts. And they're awesome and they're cool and they're just so good at defending against mech. And I feel this is still kind of true. But at the same time, like these days, when I see a meching Terran player, and there are a lot of them because of the recent changes, then most Zergs are just not going for swarm hosts. I've seen everything, from roaches to Mutalisks, Ultralisks, like Hydras, whatever. But swarm hosts, I see a couple of times, like the upgrade for the Enduring Locust, but real swarm host play against a Terran player that mechs and then just trying to lead off, I don't see that much anymore. Maybe it's too much of a gas investment, and most Zerg players think that it's much better for them to go into a different strategy. We saw it once today in the GSL in Code A, but in general, I feel it's not really that go-to build anymore. The strong suit really of a Zerg play against mech, in my opinion, is that when he goes off and just has a massive economy, he can just tech switch like that, bam, and go straight for like ground then air, ground then air. And the one thing, the reason why you want to do this is if a Terran player commits a little bit too much to siege tanks and halberds, he has a lack of anti-air, and then a switch into Mutalisk can kill him. If he survives because he has too many Thors, then he can just try to go onto the ground army again, for example with Ultralisk support. But you need a really good, like a really good bank for that. So if you have an account in Switzerland, then you can pull that off. If you don't have that just yet, you should probably get one, which translates into StarCraft: get additional bases noob and make sure that you have that economy. Then you can make that happen, and as soon as those tech switches just happen all the time, it's very difficult for the Terran player to adjust because he's not as flexible as a Zerg player. But that's kind of the big strength that you have there. But I feel that there's a little bit of a lack of swarm hosts. I'm not quite sure if I just catch the wrong games or the right games, because that's probably the most entertaining ones. But it's just like a little bit surprising to me. I mean, at this point now we have that Reaper with 4 kills already, and he's getting another one, but finally being shut down. Oh, actually, he's getting away. Look at that bad boy. 5 kills, he's going for 6 kills. That's a bloodthirsty Reaper right there. I give that guy a medal. He deserves it. And at the same time, Happy is getting his orbital command to the top. Same time as he gets his 3rd base. And why not the 4th? Like, when was the last time a Terran player built a 4th command center? I probably think that has never happened outside of Bronze League. But, yeah. Would be fun. Here comes that upgrade again for Targa. He really wants to know what's going on. He doesn't want to be blindsided by anything that the Terran player is doing right now, so the speed upgrade for the Overlord is a great tool. First of all, you want to have that if you go into Ling, Muta, Baneling, which is most likely not going to be the case against the mech composition, but like still, it's a good upgrade to get. And you always have the scouting information later on, so you don't rely on a single Overseer, but you get that upgrade, and then you can, in the mid game, in the late game, jump into the main base and have a quick look. It's absolutely worth it. So Look into the top left. We have Happy now with double gas. The gas being taken. There's the additional factory with the tech lab already. Zerglings still roaming the map, trying to maybe be just a bit annoying, just typing a unit here or there, trying to get rid of that Reaper, doing whatever he can. So yeah. Maybe he can, yeah, I'm not quite sure, but like, he can at least shut down the Reapers. Against the Hellions he can't really do a whole lot except tell the rest of the Zergs that the Hellions are coming. So a bit of just, yeah, early detection, I guess. That Overlord is even getting away, but he gets all the scouting information in the main. So he knows what's happening, and the first thing that you do as a Zerg player when you see that your opponent is going mech, yep, you drop that Roach Warren. Of course you want to have the Infestation Pit, and you also want to have a few additional tech units. There are Swarm Hosts, we talked about them already earlier, but the Roach Warren is the first go-to thing. Because the first unit that's going to come out of those factories is just going to be a Hellion, or a couple of Helpers, something like that. And that's where Roaches really come into play. They are cheap, there are usually a lot of them, so you just go for it, and that works quite well. Double Armory is now started in the main base, and those double upgrades, they have been going strong for Happy the last few games, and they really work out. So he's getting the double armory once again. As the Hellions over here taking down the Queens once again. This is a horrible ramp to block, and that's not only true for Protoss players but also for Zergs. In the main there are still more units waiting for the Hellions, and you know 4 of them sneak in, the drones already escaping, but I actually think that Happy is getting a pretty bad trade here, because Targa was ready for this. He was absolutely ready for this, and he is shutting down those Hellions hard. Harvester's killed 6, and against all those Hellions that he just eliminated, well, that's not worth it at all. Maybe he can get another one. There is Harvester number... No, it's not going down. It's not working. Yeah, maybe another one. And no. 6 drones against a lot of Hellions. Yeah, Targa is gonna take that trade 6 days to Sunday. And he's already going across the map because he says, like, knock knock, who's there? Guess what? It's the Zerg! And Happy knows that, of course, already. But he has the same problem. Walling here is difficult. The Siege Tank, on the other hand, is gonna help quite a bit. And that Siege Tank is just outside the range. So, net fail. But yeah, up over here, the Roaches are having a party time. They're having a field day there. And he should just move them a bit more to the top right, and that's what he's doing. Repositioning the tank would probably be a good idea, but it looks like he's not going to do that, and he's going to lose a lot because of it. SCV is going down, and also 1 tank. That's not going to be the end of this push. Targa is doing so much damage. Happy with the 2nd tank, maybe. He's going to push this back. But this is how you harass an economy. 25 Harvesters going down here. That is... yeah, that hurts. That hurts quite a bit. It's not a... well, Roaches, yeah, finally being taken out. But let's have a quick look at the Harvester count. 21 against 57. Whoa, boy. That is not a good sign. But triple orbital command is awesome. Now, let's be serious for a second here. It's pretty good. If you can drop 3 mules, then you don't need SCVs for some time. You just can build the triple SCVs, but you rely on mules. And Terran players, please don't hate on me, but like I've seen Zerg players kill every single SCV, and I'm not joking. Terran players that have been on 0 SCVs come back with a triple orbital and crush the Zerg. So that is definitely a pretty good thing to have when you're behind in Harvesters. But of course it hurts a lot to lose 24 SCVs. I mean, I'm not trying to belittle that. This is a lot of damage that Targa did there, but Happy is trying to close that gap a bit with those Hellions, and they are starting to do some damage. Also with that 3rd base over there and the Siege Tank, if he can hold that onto that, then he can do a really good job there. So Happy needs to be, I mean, he needs to be careful. He's looking at 52 supply against 127, and yeah, mules or no mules, but like you need a little bit more than that. You need at least to have a bit of an army to really make that work. And this is kind of the time when bio really comes into play, because if you have medivacs, you can just annoy your opponent like amazingly well. And that's something that he can't do. He can just turtle, and if you turtle with 1 tank, that is tricky. So now he's going to lose the mules, he's going to lose the SCVs, he's going to lose that tank, maybe the one on the high ground too. And when that happens, then he can kiss that base goodbye. And we already have a 4th being built for Targa, whereas 2 lone Hellions are at least trying to take down a few workers of the Zerg player. But with all the resources that he has, he's just going to rebuild them right away. And look at all those queens that Targa is building. That's 5 queens right there. and they are doing just so much for the defense. The resources loss is the same, so if you look at that, you're like, man, it's fine, but no, it's not. Since the Zerg player had a much better incomes over the entire course of the game, and most of the units lost for the Zerg weren't like the harvesters. So currently that harvest account is looking at 78 against 46, which means that the harvest account of Targa is bigger than the overall supply of Happy. You don't need to be a genius in math to realize that that's a bad thing. So that orbital command is also not going to have a good time here, and there's no mining from that third base. That is bad, especially since that thing is currently burning down. So Happy with a Marine King GG timing there already. He's looking at 180 supply of his opponent with 80 on his own, and a hive tech started. 15 Hydras on the way, plus to attack a 4th base coming up. If Targa goes away and smokes maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes, I think Happy can come back. If Targa stays at his PC and continues playing, I do not think that Happy has a chance here. I would actually take any bet there, and I doubt that anyone is going to disagree with me. So if Targa doesn't absolutely screw up like massively, do a right click into his opponent's base and walk into 50 tanks, then this should be over. But should have, would have, could have. Let's see what's actually happening. What's happening is a 5th base for the Zerg player, taking it right down there. A Hellbat drop now currently going on. And what I would really like to see for Targa is just him crawlering it up. And he's spine crawlering, he's spore crawlering. He has 71 harvesters, and that means that somewhere there are way too many harvesters at a base. And nope, he moved them back. Alright, so that's gonna work. The overlords, they see every movement of that. So let's see. Yeah, right there we have now Vipers. 16 creep tumors at a time. Does he break the record from the last game? Let's have a quick look. 58. No, he's far from it. He didn't break the 100 yet. At least not in this game. So resources lost is still very much the same. Usually also not a good sign for the Terran player, since Zerg is usually not as resourceful as Terran. +3/+3 attack upgrades for Happy though. When did he get those out? Like, how does he get the resources to get these upgrades? I already see it happening. I'm so gonna eat my words here. Happy is probably gonna roll Targa despite the disadvantages that he has right now, because Targa screws up a little bit, gives her Happy too much free reign, and then I'm gonna look like an idiot. But I can't see that happening. Well, I can totally see myself look like an idiot, but I cannot see Happy win this game. I don't think that it's actually gonna work. If I was like Targa, I would drop like an Ultralisk Cavern. I would get every single upgrade in the book just for the lols, and make sure that I have any possibility, like every possibility, to gain whatever tech switch I want. He's getting another base over there, and he should also, like, I feel he could really drone up. Usually I advise against droning over 80 because I feel it's very dangerous if the Terran player moves out and you have so little army supply. But at this point, Happy is far from doing a lot of damage. So if Targa actually just drones up with another 10 or 20 drones, gets a bit of income, just a boost for a minute or two, and then starts building spine crawlers, I think he's going to be super fine. And one of the biggest problems that he has is that the satellite bases on this map are, of course, not really easy to defend if your opponent starts dropping like a madman. And if that happens, then you need a few spine crawlers and spore crawlers. That's what you rely upon. And that's why he's currently getting all of these. It just buys him a little bit of time. We have the Spire started. Actually, thinking about it, that's the first Spire, right? That's not even the second one. Why is that Spire so late, Targa? Could have built that a long time ago. There comes the Ultralisk Cavern as well, and he's still dominating the middle of the map. And Happy, like now, is looking at a pretty decent army supply once again. Here come those blinding clouds, though, and oh yeah, Targa, he is absolutely willing to take this fight. But you know, those blinding clouds are actually pretty shitty, considering that most of them didn't even hit those siege tanks. Yeah, the rest of the army that was able to move, they were affected, but I think the only siege tanks that were affected by the blinding cloud were like about 3 of them. The rest of them still doing the damage. So yeah, bit unfortunate there. Targa is getting all those bases. He has, what income does he actually have? Let's have a look at that. The same income as the Terran player. Mules, good unit. Adrenal glands coming in. All the upgrades, +3/+3, Cardenas plating, adrenal glands. Why not even a double spire? I would have liked to see a double spire there. If he wants at some point to have the opportunity to go into a Mutalist transition again, a double spire would be amazing. get those armor upgrades. And he should definitely take gas. Yes, take gas at those bases. Gas is like one of the most limiting factors for a Zerg player in this scenario. So getting the extra gas, super important. Yeah, Overlord being gangbanged by those Vikings. He probably didn't enjoy that too much. They ganged up on him. That was not only a single Marine that was gently poking him. No, that was him just getting completely one-shotted there. Great Aspire started. And, well, we have now... Oh, wow, the +1 melee upgrade. I thought he started that already earlier, but apparently he didn't. It's only the +3 upgrade that he had. So, yeah, he's just trying to get those upgrades out and get the tech advantage. Talking about the upgrades for a second again. The 3-3 is, of course, done for the meching Terran player. Resources lost has changed a little bit. It's in favor of the Terran for now. No surprise there, that's usually what happens. But look at that creep spat. Jesus Christ. He has creep everywhere. He has creep right there at the base of his opponent. He sees the entire map. The vision of Targa is absolutely incredible. This is like he has X-ray vision right now. He sees everything. Armor upgrade has been started. And look at that bank! 2,500 minerals. Yeah, this is the base that you do not want to give the Terran player, though. So you want to make sure that this base is not going to be taken if you can somehow avoid it. It's one thing if the Terran player has 3 bases and is about to be mined out in 2 of them. It's a completely different thing if he suddenly gets another base for free. There comes that Locust upgrade. So we might also see a few Swarm hosts in the game. But right now he needs to start to make a little bit of a decision what he wants to do. Getting rid of a couple of drones is one thing. Oh, and there we go again. Where are those blinding clouds? There they are on the siege tank. You can get a couple additional ones on those Thors. That army is getting rolled. Look at the supply of Targa going down here immediately. But that's also one of the reasons why this is currently happening, is that we have a very shitty composition that scales not well in the late game. So this is basically him throwing away supply so that he can build this 15 Ultralisks and he still has a big bank. That's how good his economy is right now. So if you're looking at the game right now and be like, oh my god, what a horrible engagement! True, but he wants to get rid of these units because Roach Hydra doesn't scale into the late game. It's just not what you want to have. You want to have a couple of Ultralisks if you're on a big area. You want to force the Terran player to just go into even more siege tanks, and then at some point you can just go into Mutalisks instead. We have even more Vipers now being built, and this is like the danger. You have to now get the resources if you're a Targa. You have to get the big banks so that you can make those switches happen. And you of course also want an opportunity to, for example, go into Broodlords if time calls for it. With only 6 Vikings there, you could do that. There are 7 Thors on the other hand, so you have to be a little bit careful how you do that. So, well, here comes that army again, and well, knock knock, who's there? Thor is here. And the siege tanks as well. Here we go! It's time for the Thors, baby! And they are going the distance. They are going for the close combat here. And that is a lot of Terran units going down. The Thors, on the other hand, are also killing the Ultralisks. Like the Ultralisks alone, they lack the attack upgrades right now, but they endure quite a bit. The Queens with the Transfuse, they helped out as well. And 13 additional Ultralisks are built immediately. This is just going to throw one army after another against the Terran player. And we have now, of course, a huge discrepancy in the resources lost. But Targa can absolutely afford that. If you control the entire map, then yes, you can afford to throw away an army. Question being, of course, would it have been better to just get Mutalisks instead? I actually like the Ultralisks on this map. Usually you hear me bitch a little bit about how I do not like massive amounts of Mutalisks because it's very dangerous. This map has wide open spaces, so the Ultralisks actually get the surface area that you need to make them work. So in this scenario, it's not that bad of not much of a big deal. I mean, look at this. This is space, all right? This is open space. There you can go in and you can take down these things. If it's only like a tiny ramp and you go in there with like 50 Ultralisks, that doesn't work for you. Ling Run by is already starting and drawing the entire army now to the top. That means we are gonna have a lot of rubble right there, because that planetary is not gonna have a fun time. Those Ultralisks, they are gonna have an amazing day right now, because they are gonna drop that planetary fortress immediately, and bam, bye bye. There's also a couple of blinding clouds, and we see even more of those. Nope, not quite, but blinding clouds over here would be amazing. No idea why he's not dropping them, but he doesn't even have to. Happy is dropping in supply. He was able to draw it out a little bit, but in the end, the inevitable result is going to be the same. Those Ultralists, they are going through the Terran Mech army like a hot knife through butter, and well, we have immediately 17 Hydras, we have Ultralists being built, and there is no income here anymore. A few mineral patches, there's also the same picture. Targa takes game number 3 against Happy and wins the series with a 2-1. Congratulations to the Zerg player. Happy was close, but Targa, he prevails in the best of 3.